I'm going to be comparing the Ted franchise to the Rescuers franchise. The reason for this is that in part one of this series, I compared the Ted franchise to the Paul Blart Mall Cop movies. I compared the Rescuer movies to the Lion King franchise. Ted won against Paul Blart Mall Cop. Rescuers won against the Lion King franchise. So now I'm going to be comparing Ted and Rescuers. When you look at highest score for each franchise, the first Rescuers movie has a 79%. The first Ted movie has a 69%. When you look at lowest score, Rescuers Down Under has a 72%. Ted 2 only has a 45%. And then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, you got a gap of 24 in the case of Ted. You have a gap of 7 in the case of Rescuers. So Rescuers definitely wins there. When you look at average score in the case of Ted, you got a gap of 57. No, I mean, you got an average of 57. With Rescuers, the average is 75.5. So Rescuers wins again. It's won all 4 rounds so far, so it's going to be winning no matter what. And in this case, I'm definitely going to choose Rescuers. I prefer it over Ted. This is a great example of the old saying that comedy is subjective. I know there's people out there who definitely find Ted to be funny, but while I've seen the first Ted before, I can't say I enjoy it much, because for me, Ted is just too cynical, jaded, and mean spirited. Because Ted the bear is so irritating and annoying to me. I find him to just be insufferable. Right at the beginning of the first film, we see that this bear comes to life. At first, it seems like, oh, he's just this sweet, kind, innocent bear. And then you hard cut to him doing drugs, and it's like, nope, he's not innocent anymore at all. He's completely lost the innocence he had before. He's now cynical, mean, rude, abrasive, combative, dirty, raunchy, crass. He is just really extreme. And also, our main human character is unlikable to me as well. Because when I think about that first Ted movie, I'm thinking, oh, guy, you are such a loser. You are an absolute man child. I'm thinking, you know what, lady, you should just dump him and move on to someone better. Because this guy, even though he's a fully grown adult, is still basically a child. In fact, in the second movie, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, we literally see that the marriage doesn't actually last long. At the end of the first film, the two of them do get married, but I'm pretty sure in Ted 2 we see the marriage doesn't last, which isn't surprising to me. Like, dude, you are not someone I like at all. You are a loser. No, I never really enjoyed Ted because it just goes too far for me in being non sentimental, cynical, mean spirited. When I think about the movie Violent Night, I would say that Violent Night does a much better job than Ted of balancing the tone. Where Violent Night is a movie that can be definitely cynical and mean spirited, but at the same time, it doesn't forget that it's a Christmas movie. In fact, you have this journey for Santa, which is pretty powerful, where at the beginning of the movie, he is totally cynical. He's lost any of the enthusiasm he had before. He's just tired of this now because he's seen all the negative sides of kids wanting presents. You know, all the ways that kids can go about it wrong, the ways that they can be spoiled, demanding, rude, entitled, all that stuff. But then Santa ends up having to rescue this family from the house, and we see that, oh, this is actually exactly what Santa needed to remind him of what Christmas is really about. The fact that, hey, this is something worth doing. And thus, Santa actually regains optimism and hope by the end of the movie. So I think Violent Night balances things out properly, where I don't think it goes too far in being mean spirited. It doesn't go far enough to the point where the movie's unenjoyable to me. You have characters that certainly can be hard edged, especially this grandma in the family. You see, oh wow, she is definitely mean, cynical, but at the same time, you have these elements in Violent Night that still make it enjoyable to me. I don't think Ted finds that balance at all. When it comes to Rescuers, I think both movies are really good. In fact, Rescuers Down Under, I'd say, is a bit better than the first film because we're at a location that's a bit more visually interesting than the one from the first film. But in both cases, I like that we're exploring this idea that in this world there are animals that are trying to rescue people. They've created a society called the Rescuers, an organization called the Rescuers, in order to help people out. I like the story in both movies. I think there's really good voice acting. There's a rescue scenes are definitely engaging. I don't have very many problems with either movies. Sure, the location of the first film being a swamp is a bit of a letdown because it's not the most visually interesting place, but still, I quite enjoy Rescuers. So in this case, Rescuers has won every round, so we'll be moving on. Ted will not. That'll wrap things up for this video.